What's going on YouTube, man? It's your boy Big Pain back with another video, man. Before we get started, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. That's very important, man. And as you can see in the title, it's Howie Roseman, the bad GM. And before we get into it, I just want to say, what has Howie Roseman done good over the past few years to where as though people think that he's a good GM? And what has he done to where as though our fan base believes he's a bad GM? And why I had to sit on it, I had to just pause, sleep on it. You know what I'm saying? And just you know think about what I'm saying here. Do we really want a new GM? And let me tell you why. I'm gonna start off with the bad. Why the Eagles fans don't like Howie Roseman? He can't draft, and he can't draft skill positions. It seems like, you know what I'm saying? He can't draft skill positions, and there's hair in my mouth. Fuck, from my hair. But yeah, he can't draft skill positions. It seems like he might have hit on that Miles Sanders pick. He hit on, so I salute him on that. And he really can't hit on receivers. It seems like. Now, Jalen Reagor seems like he's pretty solid, but his durability. But you can't predict somebody dealing with injuries all the time. You can't predict that. It's his rookie year. He ain't getting any preseason. It's his first football in months. So we expect to see injuries. But on that note, he's better at drafting like the big guys. I can say a little bit like on offensive lineman side, but for the most part, he's really not a good drafter. He's not. He's just not. And this video is not going to be long because there's really not much to talk about in regards to Howie Roseman. We don't like him because he's not a good GM in regards to drafting. And everybody has their weaknesses. I think he's solid at drafting O-line, but he needs a scout from college to help him recognize what talent he should pick up. He needs another scout. He needs more scouts around him. He needs somebody that's in his ear, that's passing him along players on his draft board and who to take. Because we can't have any more drafts like the one we just had. In the last 2 years, too. I mean, Dallas Goedert and Miles Sanders was a good pickup. Avonte Maddox is solid, So in that regard, I salute him on that. But with the picks like Whiteside was obvious one you should have picked up. You shouldn't have gotten. And this Jalen Hurts pick, it's like I understand Carson Wentz dealt with injuries and all that, and I understand that 100%. So in that regard too, but as a second round pick, he has to. If he's not going to play, then I don't like. I feel as though he should get more plays. You don't draft somebody in the second round that doesn't play, and I'm not saying he should take Carson Wentz's job. In no kind of shape or form, I'm saying that he needs some packages, like some Taysom Hill packages. You know what I'm saying? Because he can create explosive plays, it seems like, or he should be able to. And he needs more packages because of the simple fact that could have been another running back. I would have preferred A.J. Dillon or another receiver. So in that regard, as an offensive player, he needs to play more because we drafted him so high. He needs to be a weapon on the field, like immediately. Like we need to see him create some plays. We need to see him in some more packages. We need to see that. I don't care. I know Carson Wentz is our quarterback. I have no problem with that. That's our guy. But I'm saying he needs to be a weapon on the field. Bottom line. Okay. Now here's what Howie Roseman good at. I think he's a top 5 GM at making trades. Top 2, if you ask me. And people are gonna say, "What do you mean by that? Well, who do you?" For first off, he traded for Michael Bennett, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. He traded for Jay Ajayi, if I'm not mistaken. And also, do you remember the Golden Tate trade? Now, I know Golden Tate didn't stay for long, but we ended up, I think, getting picks back for him. And, he caught a playoff touchdown. And Golden Tate was a good quality receiver at the time. It didn't materialize how he might have wanted it to, but Golden Tate was solid. Darius Slay trade, you know what I'm saying? Like, he makes great trades. So, eventually, throughout the season, we're going to see him make a crazy trade. And we're like, this is why we like Howie. Because he knows how to trade. And in my opinion, if he know how to trade so good with these picks, then he might have to start giving away more picks. Because he can't draft. And the reason why trades are so scary is because he knows that the books are messed up right now. We're going to end up cutting a lot of dudes next year. So you have to keep those picks, which is going to result in us drafting, which is his weakness. And look, Bill Belichick is their GM over there, I think, in New England, and he can't draft receivers, it seems like. So with that being said, everybody has their weaknesses, but we have to address those weaknesses because we cannot have any more bad drafts. Davion Taylor has to get some kind of play. Nathan Gary is garbage. At the end of the day, every Eagles fan know what I'm talking about. Y'all all can relate to what I'm talking about. But let's not forget that, we're heated right now because we're not supposed to be 0-2-1. That's just bottom line. That's why we're heated. So don't get me wrong. I was admitting that Howie Roseman is trash, and Carson Wentz was playing trash, and Doug Peterson was coaching trash. But that all trickles down from the top. So Howie Roseman is the first reason why this is going on because of this roster. Then it trickles down to Doug Peterson to his game planning. And to the third, it's trickling down to the quarterback because he's the one that has to deal with this roster. And Leonard Fournette is a prime example of what Howie Roseman missed on because he's not good at managing the books right now because he gave Jason Peters an extra $2 million when he could have gave Leonard Fournette that $2 million that he got signed for over there at Tampa Bay. So, and the reason why I'm saying this is because Miles Sanders is good. Don't get me wrong, he's actually playing great. But you've seen that they took him out, and every Eagles fan is saying, "Oh, why did we take out Miles Sanders? Oh, Doug Peterson has to run the ball." Well, first off, Clement and Boston Scott aren't really playing that well, and the reason why Miles Sanders has to get taken out is because Doug Peterson is on record saying, I can't get it word for word, but he's saying, well, it's some fatigue setting in with him. He has to get back in the game shape. He missed a lot of off season. This is what Howie Roseman, it comes back to Howie Roseman because you're supposed to get him another running back. So I don't know if we make a trade for one because, the Eagles are known for making trades for running backs. Or, because we traded for Jordan Howard and Jordan Howard was solid. He was actually pretty good. It's just that injuries and he got paid, he got offered $10 million over there in Miami, which he couldn't afford. So in that regard, he has to make another trade for a running back, in my opinion, to patch this team up. I know everybody wants another receiver, but we have to be able to have a running game in between the tackles. If this is going to be a good RPO team, you have to understand something, this run pass option. The first one is, obviously to hand it off, or the quarterback can run it, or he could throw it. So we need another power back to get in between the tackles. Miles Sanders is great right now. One of the best all-purpose backs in the league right now. And he's one of the great running backs, period, right now. If you look at the numbers, he's averaging 95 yards per game. So we need another running back to add into that so he doesn't, we don't want to be one of those teams like the Dallas Cowboys, the Giants, or the Titans, or even the Rams that, have a good rushing attack, but eventually it dies down because they get tired. At the end of the day, running backs face the most contact basically out of all the skill positions because they're guaranteed to get hit like 99% of the time. So you have to split carries with them. When the last time you seen a tier 1 running back win a Super Bowl? Marshawn Lynch, Ray Rice is big gaps in between them too. So you look at these teams where they're set up. You see teams like us, the Eagles that had a running back by committee, the Patriots, the Seahawks even now have multiple running backs. The Seahawks. Yeah, the Seahawks now have multiple running backs. The Chiefs also add another running back, and then also the Ravens look like a good team with multiple running backs. And watch out for the Packers because they have multiple running backs. Those are the most dangerous teams to me. And you have to have a guy that can catch passes out the backfield and get between it and get off tackle ones, but you need somebody to get those 3rd and 1s. Somebody that could guarantee get it because that would take a toll off Carson Wentz because Carson Wentz usually will go in and QB sneak that. Whereas though if he would have had LeGarrette Blount, who getting the ball on 3rd and 1. And you can't stop it. Running behind Jason Kelce. You know what I'm saying? So, in that regard, I believe Howie Roseman can fix all this by addressing the power back situation in our team, or unless we have a power back on our roster that we don't know about. And that's the issue right now because a lot of us see that, throwing the ball 50 times a game is not going to win us any games. I'm sorry. I've never been a believer of throwing the ball that many times. So, in my opinion, we have to have some balance to this offense, and we have to have a power running game in this offense. You have to find a way to find a power back for cheap, and a lot of them been going off for cheap, and we didn't address that. And we actually gave Jason Peters an extra $2 million. You know what I'm saying? And I don't feel like that was smart. So That's my take on it. Howie Roseman is a solid GM at the end of the day if I add it all up. But this season might be his worst year if he don't fix this power back situation. We're going to have to run the ball. There's no way. There's no way. We have to have a running game. And I'm not saying that we can't run the ball because Miles Sanders is good. So don't make it seem like I'm knocking Miles Sanders. I'm saying that we need another power back. And I'm not saying that it even has to be running back by committee. He can be the number one back, but there has to be another running back to get those short yardage runs. We don't want Miles Sanders to get tired or get injured because most injuries happen when you're tired. We don't want to just run him to the ground. You know what I'm saying? The days of just running the ball from one running back like 40 times, a running back getting 35 plus carries, those days have been over for a long time. And anybody, what they say, that has a bell cow running back, whatever they want to call them, those teams don't win. It is what it is. This is a different league. You need multiple running backs, and no, it looks like Doug Peterson doesn't trust Boston Scott or Clement, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we need to get him another running back, and that's my take on it. And I'll catch y'all later. And this season is not over. Just pump the brakes on the Carson Wentz situation. You're a product of your environment. That's all I can say. Now I'll make another video, either during this week or my game predictions and how everything should go. And I'll catch y'all later.